Hey team, it's Monday, September 13th, 2016, and my name's Jared Zaragoza. I'm one-star diamond coach, and I just pushed the wrong button. Okay, I'm back. So far we just have Tiff on the call, but I'm going to record this because I know a lot of you have different schedules, and some of you might be working or have other stuff going on. So we'll post a recording in the group, and when you have the time to watch this, just watch it.
Hey, Jared, I can't hear you again.
I was muted. I actually didn't hit mute. It just muted by itself. Okay. I don't know where it cut off, so I'll just say, in case I repeat myself, I don't know. But anyway, it's Monday, it's Tuesday, actually. September, I think it's like 13th now, 2016. And my name's Jared Zaragoza. I'm one-star diamond coach for Team Twizzted. I posted earlier in the group if anybody had any questions, and I didn't see anybody. So if I miss any questions, just feel free to comment on this, which I'll post. This is going to be recorded, and I'll post in the group shortly. And I'm going to, so you guys know, I'm going to start having their calls every week, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I know we all have different schedules, and not everybody could get on, so that's why I record these and post them for you to watch later. And that's the horse barking. Anyway, so ask if anybody had any questions. I didn't see any, so I'm just going to go over a few things I went over. So Tiff and I are in this group called It's Legacy Mentorship by Josh Coates, and he went over a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to go over the whole call, but I'm just going to go over some of the highlights that I took from the call. And there seemed to be a lot of common questions asked, and some of you may have these questions yourself, but one of the questions that they were asking in the group was, how do I get coaches to work that aren't working? First of all, there's different kinds of coaches. There's coaches that are discount, and when they say they're discount, they literally just signed up for the discount. So you shouldn't have discount coaches that you're expecting to work when their only intention was just to get the discount. Like, they're discount for reason because that's something they wanted to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally fine to have discount coaches, coaches who do this here and there, and the coaches who do this part-time, and even coaches that do this full-time. But if someone straight up says, no, I just want the discount, I'm not interested in the business, you shouldn't be frustrated when that person doesn't want to build a business. If you do have someone that's a working coach, someone that wants to build this business, and they're not working, and one of the questions asked in the group was, how do I get that person to work? The answer is you don't. I'll just be honest. So, I started coaching about 2 years ago, and, it took time to build up my team to where it is now, but I'll just be honest and say it wasn't easy. I've had about, I'd say 20 to 24 coaches cancel, and I've probably have maybe 4 or 5 inactive between the different, between mine and Sandy's accounts. But like I said, I've had 20 to 24 cancel. So you have to keep bringing on new coaches, because if you don't, you'll easily drop rank, which I have done. I've dropped from diamond down to emerald, and then I got back up to diamond, and I dropped back down to ruby. I got back to diamond again. The reason I was doing that is because I wasn't bringing on as many coaches, and people were going active or counseling for whatever reason. So you have to keep bringing on new coaches. And back to that question, you'll run across people that tell you, oh, I want to build a business, or I want to work, or I have a friend who's interested in this or that, and you'll provide them with the training. And for our team, we send that email checklist out to everybody. And that's something that I got from our upline, Micah. And it's the reason I use it is because when we first started a couple of years ago, we had a totally different system, which was way more confusing, and it didn't seem like it was as easy to duplicate. So this new system she has, it's a lot easier to duplicate. So I send that out to people, and then after they complete the checklist, we ask them if they want to go into the 7-day boot camp. We only put them in there after they complete the checklist. Then they go on to the 7-day boot camp. They have one attempt to complete it in a week. If they don't complete it, because sometimes life happens, we ask them, hey, I know, you wanted to be in the 7-day boot camp, which is basically like a 7-day quick start new coach training. you didn't seem to follow the training or you got behind, you want a second week to try to do that. And if they say, yeah, go ahead and give them the second week. Well, you yourself may have noticed, or you might have friends who've had this happen to them, where someone tells you how bad they want this business, and they say, oh, I'm ready, I want to do this, this, and this. You might have your get it started right call. They might tell you their why. They tell you all these reasons. So you put them you send them the checklist and they don't do it, or they do the checklist and you put them in the 7-day and they don't do it, or so on. And the point is you can't carry people and you can't make people work this business that don't want to do it. The other question that was asked in the call that Josh Coates said is, if you have people that tell you they want to build this business, but they don't build the business, he's like, they were asking him, like, what does that mean? And what that means is if someone says they want something, but they don't do it, like they say they want this because they want to have financial freedom or they want to see their kids more, but they don't do the work, it just simply means they don't want it as bad as they say they do. And that's just equivalent to anybody who works out. Like someone might tell you, hey, I really want to do this. I want to lose 50 pounds, or I really want to get in shape. And if they're trying and if they're failing forward, if they're giving it their all and they're, if they come to you and say, hey, I messed up yesterday. I had a really bad day. I ate like crap, but I'm still trying. Or I skipped my workout yesterday, but I'm trying. But if they're still showing up in the group, you can tell they want it. They're giving it their all. But if you have people that ghost on you, like they don't show up in the challenge group, and I know we've probably had people that have done that. They tell you how bad they want it. If they don't show up to the challenge group, they don't check in at all. Same with the business. If you have people tell you they want it and they don't show up, they just don't want it bad enough. And you can't want it more than they want it for themselves. The other question that was asked, and I get asked these a lot too, so that's why I wanted to address it in this call, is how do you get people to rank advance? Like how do you get coaches to be emeralds, or how do you get emeralds to be diamonds? And the answer to that question is you don't. So there's this thing called the law of lid that Josh Coates went over in the call. And what he was saying is, so say like you're right here as a leader and you have people starting right here as coaches. Well, you would think, you say like you're an emerald coach and you want your coaches to be emeralds. It doesn't work like that. Just because you're an emerald, they don't become an emerald. In order for you to get your coaches to be emeralds, you actually have to raise yourself to here in order to they won't ever go all the way up to you most of the time. So if you're here as an emerald and you want them to be emeralds too, you have to go up a little higher to get them to come to here. So maybe to get them to go to emerald, you might have to go to diamond. That's just how it is. Or you might have to go to ruby. So if you're stuck here and you're wondering why your coaches won't move to emerald, maybe you need to work more on yourself through personal development. You go to here and then they go up too. And the same thing goes as you climb the ranks. Like if you want to get your coaches to diamond and you're here and they're only going to emerald, perhaps you need to go a little higher, to get them to go up to diamond. So the one thing he went over in the call that I thought was really neat is he said he went over different – I haven't listened to all the call yet, so I can't really say everything yet, but he went over 5 different levels of leadership, and he was saying a level 5 leader is looking outside their window to recognize people on their team or on their downline. And every time something goes wrong in their business, instead of pointing the finger at their upline, like saying, well, my upline didn't mentor me good enough, or my upline didn't do this, or they didn't give me the right training. Or instead of looking at their downline, like, well, my coaches won't work, my so-so doesn't want to work, or my one person keeps going in and out of rank. Instead, they look in the mirror and they realize the problem's actually within them. It's their fault. That takes a long time to get to that leadership level, but essentially that's where you want to be. So just to kind of wrap things up, if you want to move things in your business, you got to work on you first. So whether it's coaches that aren't being, they're not working or doing what they say they wanted to do, it's just you. And it's not like a bad thing, because even at my level, like, you always have to keep moving and progressing. So what I suggest, and what I've told, Tiff already, is this isn't so easy, but I really highly recommend it. I suggest you doing at least reading 30 pages a day of a self-help book. Make your personal development intentional. So if you're trying to work on leadership to build your team, perhaps read on leadership. If you're lacking in your motivation or your vision or your belief in yourself or in this business, read books about belief. If you're scared, if you have a fear of inviting people, if you're scared posting on your wall, if you just have fears, look into books about overcoming fear. But don't just read to read. Find something that you know you need to work on and then read that. And I promise you, if you read 30 pages a day, let's use my example. So I started reading 30 pages a day about February. Before that, I did about 10 to 15, just a standard. And I think it was a Dave Adkins call. It was a National Wake Up Call way back in February, where he was saying, he's like, I was a diamond coach. I had 45 people underneath me on my downline. And he's like, and I've been there for, I think he said, a year to 2 years. And he's like, and I wasn't moving and I couldn't figure out why. I had coaches that wouldn't work. I just had a bunch of discounters on my team. And he said, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with my team. And he said, when he started reading 30 pages a day, he said he noticed there's rapid movement in his team. People were wanting to work. They started rank advancing. And he started progressing. Eventually he passed 60 people on his team and he ranked advanced. And now he's an 8-star diamond. David Adkins, I like using him a lot, for example, because he's still a full-time police officer for New York State Police. He's a lieutenant. So he works full-time and he works a business full-time, and he's been able to achieve that. So it's a challenge that I took upon myself. And at first I didn't notice the change, but actually other people noticed it first. My wife and I noticed a change. She noticed I wasn't arguing as much. I wasn't being as negative. My mom noticed. My mother-in-law actually noticed. She's just like, something's changed with Jared. And I noticed when I started, I guess these changes were happening, I noticed the changes in my downline. Coaches that wanted this business to work for them started changing themselves. And as a whole, this whole team started shifting and moving. And then that's when I noticed things like drastically changed. So if you want something to change in your life, just to recap, I really encourage you to read 30 pages a day. If you're really busy like I am and you can't always sit down to read a book, do the equivalent of whatever that is in audio. You could do a 30-day free trial with Audible, and I believe it lets you get a free book for the month. You could give it a try for 30. Yeah, you could try that for 30 days, and if you like it, you could keep it. If not, cancel before it charges you, but that's a really good option. If you don't want to even mess with that, I suggest listening to podcasts. There's always the National Wake Up Call. There's that podcast for Team Beachbody. I listen to The Shalene Show, Build Your Tribe by Shalene Johnson. Trust and Belief by Shaun T is another good one. What's that other one called? That's the other one's called Tiffany, where it's look at my phone. Hang on, let me look at my phone real quick. Can't remember. Hang on. There's a School of Greatness with Lewis Howes. That one's free, and that one's a really, really good one. And the other one is the Platinum Edge podcast by Christine Dwyer. And Christine Dwyer is the highest part of our team, of our upline. So she's above Michael Folsom, and she's above Mindy Wender, and above Janelle Summers. So she's Janelle Summers' upline. Anyway, she's the highest in our upline, and she has a lot of good stuff in there too. So I encourage you to read or do audio while you're mowing the lawn, while you're doing the dishes, while you're showering, while you're driving to work. Like, I have an hour drive to work each day, an hour back from work each day. That's 2 hours of personal development. If you're lucky enough to have a job where you can sit down in a cubicle and don't have to deal with people, plug in headphones if they let you and listen to personal development. That about wraps up everything I'm going to go over today. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm going to stop recording, and I'm going to post this in the group, and you should see it shortly.